welcome to the Artist Behind the Music USA series. Today we have Kendra Muecke from Kendra and the Bunnies joining us. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Crystal. Good
Yeah,
to be here.
great. Well, I'm excited to chat with you and learn more about your journey and your music and all the great stuff that you have going on. Where did Kendra and the Bunnies come from? What
Oh,
inspired the Bunnies?
that is kind of a funny question and kind of super introspective. So, on one hand, I'm a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland. So, my fascination with rabbits and kind of that whole vibe comes to fruition from the White Rabbit. He starts the whole story. He runs in, he's definitely a symbol of my anxiety or, racing thoughts or whatever, whatever. And he runs in and he's like, I'm late. I'm very late for a very important date. And it just catapults Alice into actually following her discovery. It starts the whole story. So I use it as a representation of, as an artist, I always have these thoughts coming through. I have high energy, I've got hummingbird energy and kind of like rabbit energy. And for a lot of my time in my early 20s, like in college and in my early 20s, I always felt like I was late for something. And then I realized one day it's like, oh, well, if I keep telling myself I'm late, I'm not actually late. I'm right on time in the storybook of my life. I'm playing my character, doing it well. So for me to continue going, I'm late, just causes that friction in myself. So that was the original fascination with rabbits. And then came White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. That's my favorite rock song to cover. And then on the flip side of things, this is kind of where the humor comes in. There was this reality show like, I don't know, like 15 years ago or something called The Girls Next Door. And it was about the Playboy
I
bunnies.
remember that. Yeah.
And there was a character named Kendra. And so I don't know, just Kendra Bunny. I started calling myself Kendra Bunny. And those things came to fruition to be Kendra and the Bunnies because I'm a mix between philosophical. I want people to think deep. I want them to investigate themselves and their surroundings. On the other hand, at the end of the day, maybe I'm just a blonde having a good time, making sure everyone else is having a good time, so those things coexist within me.
I love that. I'm a little bit like that too. You just want to have fun and bring joy out, but yet be introspective and get a little bit deeper on life and thoughts and all the crazy stuff underneath the chaos that is moving around us constantly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very neat story. Thanks for sharing that. The bunny energy, the hummingbird energy. It's so interesting. I was literally just having a conversation about having hummingbird energy. If I was a bird, that's what I would be. So it's funny you brought
Yes.
that up because I've never really heard that before chatting about it the other day. So that's great. Let's talk a little bit about fear. You mentioned, I'm late and just running through fear and just feeling,
Mhm.
that anxiety feeling of always having to be
Mhm.
somewhere or not catching up on time. What kind of tools do you like to use to move through those feelings and kind of ease that chaos into some calm?
I'm so glad you asked because I actually came up with a great mantra for 2021 because I have these thoughts that come up and they stem from, I call it anxiety, but once I like relearn what it is, it'll be something more like high energetic frequency that's just bouncing around or something. But I have this high energetic frequency that's bouncing around, and then sometimes it can catapult me into negative thought patterns because I'll get so, I don't know, entrenched in something, and then I'll think a negative thought, and then it causes me to spiral, and then yada yada, and then this, and then you never did this, and you never did that. So
Yeah.
my 2021 mantra has been whenever an anxious thought comes up, I just go, oh, I don't care,
Mm.
because it's generally something that's out of my control anyway. Oh, well, you never did this, or you're never going to be that. Or it's like hypothetical what ifs too. So I'm just like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. So then it just kind of like treats it right when it happens. So then, yeah, so I don't go down that pathway.
Yeah.
And then another
Nice.
way would be to do something that utilizes um, some physical energy. So for me, I play the guitar, but other times I'll go out for a walk or go hula hoop or something.
Fun. Let's talk about hula
Yeah.
hooping. Is that something that you do on the regular? Do you like going to festivals and doing the whole hula hoop stuff? Or I've never hula hooped since I was a child.
Yeah.
I'm always so fascinated by it.
Absolutely. I love going to music festivals, which I'm so excited for them to return whenever music festivals return. Um, Love hula hooping. It's like one, it's called part of the flow arts. So, you just kind of like feel the gravitational pull and you move with it. It's a mix between dancing and kind of like performing arts, and being so connected to the weight of the hoop and how it reacts to your body. So it has this kind of like majestic, swooping um, movement when you watch other people dance with it, or when you see people dance with the hula hoop, or do some like poi or something like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch. I'm always just intrigued by the art of hula hooping. Let's
Yeah.
dive into what got you started in music and what inspires you to really continue music as being a big part of your life.
Oh wow. I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. Music is the soundtrack the soundtrack of our lives, which is so cliche, but it's really true. There's been different moments of time, this era of my life, this time of my life, and they each have their own soundtrack. And I just realized that music is a way that I breathe and I move through life, and it became everything for me. Going to live music concerts, meeting people behind the scenes, oftentimes going backstage, and I realized I'm like, this is a part of my life so much that I also want to make the music too, so I can also be facilitating the own creation of my life too.
Yeah, I love that. It's so music is the theme to everybody's life, right? It's the universal language. I kind of like to look at it as, right? It's just what connects us all and tells so many stories of different periods and pieces of life. So, what are some of
Yeah.
the biggest influences musically?
Um, okay, so we'll start with my first biggest influence, which would be Britney Spears back in the day. Absolutely love Britney. Actually, my upcoming song that I haven't quite announced yet, but I just submitted it for distribution yesterday. The single coming out in February is very influenced by Britney Spears. So I'd say Britney, and then total 180, The Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, Led Zeppelin, um Sound Tribe Sector 9, that is a more new age type jam band, Fish, stuff like that, just like where the songs are practically 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
You go to a Grateful Dead show and it's like, haven't they been playing this song for like 15 minutes? I love
Yeah,
that.
now music's like, 2.5 minutes to 3:30, and it's just
Yeah,
here it is, and now it's gone. Yeah,
right, right.
huge difference, huge difference. What would you say is the most challenging part of being in the music industry?
For me personally, it's keeping up. Well, this is a mix between what I work on in my day-to-day life, and then the question was what's the most challenging thing, right?
Yeah.
Is renewing and encouraging my faith on a day-to-day basis, because I'll start moving towards something and then I'll accomplish it, and then I'll realize there's so many more accomplishments along the way. So sometimes I can start to get into some of that same mind frame as the anxiety and the negative thoughts that I've been working on, and be like, oh, well, this is all it is, or that's all it is, or that's all you're going to be. And so it's the most challenging part for me is to rise above and continue to strengthen my faith. That
Mm,
also plays into my spiritual life.
yeah, that's huge. And I think every day you have to show up and renew that faith, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to get distracted or, you know, doubt yourself from other people, what they're doing, or things on social media, or, quotations, failures. I don't really believe in failures because it's all
Mhm. Mhm.
learning experiences. But yeah, showing up and just always reminding yourself to believe in yourself is a huge thing. What kind of ways do you practice doing that?
I listen to a lot of spiritual teachers right now. I'm listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks.
Mm,
Love her, and doing a lot of meditation and just checking in with myself throughout the day, and just making sure that I've got everything together, and not letting thought processes go too far. In fact, I'm keeping my thought processes really close to me right now, because every time they go too far, I'll get into a what if, or remember that time when you did this. So if I'm going to go there, I should be sitting down in front of a pen and paper and writing that stuff down, or don't go through those pathways.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Following up, taking that follow through. That's, yeah, good advice. Good. What would you say is your most favorite part about being in the music industry?
My favorite part about the music industry is how magical it all is.
Yeah.
Just like everything is so cool all the time. I've met so many cool people and I've experienced so many cool things. Just a lot of it feels so surreal. So following my dreams, things feeling surreal, the people I meet along the way, the history of rock and roll.
Yeah. There's some great stories out there of the past. And, it's so neat to look back on how things were and, what things are like now. It just makes me so curious about, what's it going to look like in another 30 years and looking back on our stories today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely part of history with this transition to virtual life that I think is going to stick around.
I think so too. So 2020, obviously a crazy year for everybody. What
Mm-hmm.
takeaways that you found for, personal development and growth, or some struggles that you overcame? What
Mm-hmm.
that period of time, or even into today now? I mean, we're still experiencing the same thing. So
Mm-hmm. I would say when we decide something, there is a way that is made for us, and we might not know exactly what it is, but it's the same analogy as using our headlights in the middle of the night when we're driving. Your headlights only show you 20 feet in front of you, and that's all you really need at the time. So if I'm thinking, oh, down the road, there's going to be no light down the road 2 miles away. Yes, technically there's no light down the road 2 miles away, but when you get there, you've got your headlights to
oh,
help you see what you need to see
I
right
love
in front of
that.
you.
I love
Yeah.
that. And it's a journey, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
being present. That's a beautiful analogy to see life as. I really love that. That's going to stick with me because it's
I
easy
heard it
to get
from
lost.
a pastor.
I love
I heard it from Joel Osteen. So just before we go around and say that's my philosophy,
that.
but it's a great metaphor. So
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks to Pastor Joel.
Yeah. No, that's great. It's always nice to hear little tidbits of analogies to practice and to put into the daily routine and life and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also have a podcast. What was the inspiration
Right.
behind your video podcast, I guess, and more so?
Right. You've been a guest on the podcast
Ah,
or will be a guest. I think you're up either next episode or next episode. So sometime this month or next month. Um, the podcast was inspired by um, just wanting to have a way to talk about stuff, because there was so much stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I realized I didn't want to be someone who goes on my Instagram or my YouTube channel and just rants about stuff. But I did want to do that. I just wanted it to be packaged. So I'm like, hey, you guys, if you want to hear me rant about stuff and talk about stuff, and then also to meet other artists and spotlight other artists too, but to create a platform where I can really talk long form without bombarding my audience. Like, here's my opinion.
yeah. No, it's great. I love the fact that we can do these virtual shows and podcasts, just to get different messages out to the world and share different people's stories. And it's so much fun that we have the technology to be able to do this. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. And so let's hear a little bit more about your year coming. What kind of stuff can we
Okay.
look forward to from you?
So I have a new song coming out next month. I haven't announced it, so I'm not going to drop the name right now, but I've got a new song out on February 12th. Well, my birthday is on February 11th. Then I've got a song coming out February 12th.
Day early.
Thanks. Yeah, it practically was like yesterday. I feel like yesterday was February 2020. And then I've got a new music video coming out on Valentine's Day. Fast forward to March, I'll be headed up to San Francisco to potentially perform in person, just depending on if the regulations are right. But I'll go up to San Fran anyway, because I'm also recording an album at Hyde Street Studios, particularly in Dream Rack Studios. So recording a full-length album in March that's inspired by the 90s, A Tribe Called Quest, Alanis Morissette, Fiona Apple, Radiohead a little bit. And then I'll be going to Nashville in May to record an EP as well. And
Wow,
that's going to be pop country.
amazing. That's two big
Yeah.
projects right there.
They kind of, you know, the Nashville one came about before the San Fran one, but the San Fran trip and that album I had been working on for longer. So it all just kind of fell into place. I'm like, this is awesome.
I love that. I love watching people do their passion and in all sorts of different genres and sounds. So do you have a preference between sounds and styles? Like, are the songs completely different? Do they tell different stories and a different avenue of yourself?
Yeah, they are kind of completely different. I co-wrote the songs that are going to be on my Nashville album with some pretty well-established songwriters. And going into that project, I told myself, I'm going to go into this in a limitless mindset. I'm going to let myself, even though I listen to rock music and, you know, jam band music, I also love pop music. And I'm going to let myself be the pop star that I want to be. But I don't have to just be a pop star. I can still continue doing my folk rock type vibes. So it's kind of my move into a mainstream type image for myself. But I'm thinking I'll start tapping the mainstream while keeping my artsy side, and then just kind of both and both.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes there's this, pressure to be one look and one sound in the music industry, but I'm a huge believer in like what feels good to you and explore all of those things and share all of those things because they all connect with different people and
Yeah.
different messages and are just a different expression of your authentic self. It doesn't mean if you just sing country music, it doesn't mean you can't go sing some rock music over here too, right? So
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah.
I also sing pop music and then I also country music, completely different projects. And yeah, I love to
Right.
express myself in different avenues.
Do you go by the same artist name when you release both?
No, I don't. So my country project is under my name and then Boy and Girl is our pop project. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we get the
Cool.
little alter ego, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But on the note of music, I'd love to hear you play some songs for us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. What style do we get to hear today?
All right. So hopefully this pans out well because I just took off the earphones. Can you hear the guitar?
Yes, we are good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. This is really great.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for being here.
Is it cold up there in Canada?
Yes, we have got snow and you know what? We are very lucky this year. It is warmer than most years. And in a
Really?
time where we need to be outside more, it's great that the weather's been really nice. But we got about, I want to say 3-4 feet of snow back in December and just never went away. And it's just a winter wonderland outside. It's beautiful.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's definitely winter here.
This first song is from my debut album. It's titled Figure 8.
I like that title.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's a lot behind that.
She's like sage waiting in the wings. She ain't no good girl, she just wanna be free.
she dressed just for me. Wonder what's on her mind. She ain't no good girl, and she just thinks of me. Down with the words wild in the trees. She ain't just any, and I've seen plenty. Makes me run across the land and yell, I love you, bunny. She ain't just someone, I call her my sweet one, soaked in golden, never on my rose comes undone, comes undone, comes undone. Woo-hoo! He ain't no good boy, he just wanna tour with me. Wonder where we are, we're in the country making memories. Maybe he's a good one, the best in that soul. Takes me out for supper, tells me all his poems. Maybe he's a good one. Maybe I'll never know. 'Cause when he looks into my eyes, everything gets so slow. Standing adjacent to a girl, you can get chanting. Everybody's dancing. Everybody was dancing. Everybody was dancing in the streets. Everybody.
That was almost hypnotic. I just felt like I wanted to be in a field and at a festival and just swaying with the people. It was
Yeah, exactly. That's totally what I wrote the song about, is just like seeing this couple on tour. One of them is me, of course, and they're either in the same band or in separate bands, and one's on stage watching from the wings, and then you just kind of pan out at the end of the song and you see everyone. I will make that music video someday when I have the proper budget and everyone can be close to each other, get all my friends together, bunch of actors, bunch of people, heck, even maybe at a music festival. Show all those people dancing.
So fun. So fun. Beautiful song. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that so much. Awesome. What other song do you have for us today?
I do have another song. So this one is from the upcoming 90s style album that I'm doing in San Fran in March. Well, I'll play the song and then I'll tell you who it's inspired by, because I'll be interested to hear if you can pick up on some.
Okay.
It's recently written and it's titled The Dialogue.
Cool. I like it.
gone my way and I never did. So I tried to tell them the way that I think my cerebellum and all that mental trauma and all those great nights talking it through with my mama. Hey boy, I think I gotta move on. I think before not too long, I'd be spliced between you and what I wanted. So I'm choosing wisely. Word rhymes and fizzies. Oh, my sweet, sweet desire, that all perception has blinders and sidewinders and sidewinders. And when I write that song, don't think it's for you. I'm like T-Swift now, writing even though we're through. Oh, my sweet, sweet reminder that in some weird world you're more than a liar, more than a liar. More than a liar. I ride my horse off into the sunset. The curtains close and the rain turns set. Sundown is when you gotta get away. Sidewinders. I was going my way and I never did try to tell them. Thank you.
How exciting! A new music for a new album. You know, I was trying to figure out, who did this sound like, and I was picking up a little bit of No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom. Is that what it's called, Tragic Kingdom?
Wait.
Oh, can you hear me?
Say that again?
Oh yeah, I was pulling a little bit of No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom album in like the chorus, like that's what I was feeling. But
I love it. I will have to check that out. So definitely kind of a Neil Young feel to it when I was writing the song, but I don't know if that comes through. It's just like that's who I was thinking of when I wrote it. Radiohead and
Okay,
Casey
yeah.
Musgraves,
Okay. I can.
and a little bit of Taylor Swift.
The songwriter, like the storytelling, like
Yeah.
Radiohead has that, long
Yeah.
storytelling kind of just feeling songs, right?
Yeah.
But your tone of your voice, I think I really am a vocal person, so I was really kind of zoning into that. If you listen to, I can't remember which song it was from that album. I think it was out in '96. No doubt, Gwen Stefani.
Okay.
There's just some tone in your
Heck
vocal.
yeah.
It just really, really brought me back to being that age, listening to that album.
Very cool. I love Gwen Stefani, and she's
Oh.
making a comeback big time. Not that she's has to make a comeback. She just is like, I'm back.
Yeah, she's amazing. Huge respect for her. She's so great. Well, it's been so nice having you on the show and getting to know a little bit more about you behind your music and hearing songs from your old album and your new album. And I cannot wait to hear all the different stuff that you released this year. It's very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for your time and having me on the show. It's really good to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always love to wrap these up with the question, if you had one message to share with the world, what would it be?
Oh, be yourself. You're the only one who knows how to be yourself too.
Yeah, totally. Nobody can tell you how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Good advice. Well, we'll end on that note. And thanks again, Kendra, so much for being here. And again, I can't wait to hear all the sounds you have coming out.
Very cool. Take care.